In this video today, I'm going to talk about how you should be eating to build your first 25 pounds of muscle. Look, here's the thing. There's a lot of bullshit out there, right? A lot of fitness influencers coming online telling you what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat. Oh, it's all about macros. It's all about this, all about that. Listen, I'm going to debunk all that shit today. I'm going to tell you the only 3 things that you actually need in order to build your first 25 pounds of muscle, at least in terms of nutrition. And if you're new here, my name is Gino, and for the last 12 years of my life, I've been a men's fitness and personal development coach. Now, I'm not that old, okay? I've just started when I was young, all right? Got a lot of experience, and what I want to use that experience for today is to teach you how you should be eating to build your first 25 pounds of muscle. So why don't we jump into that? There's really only 3 factors to consider when you want to build your first 25 pounds of muscle. And these 3 factors right here are the most important and crucial elements that you're going to be using in your success for building that first 25 pounds. Now, the first one is going to be called nutrient timing. Nutrient timing is a very complicated way of just saying you're eating certain foods at certain times a day to create very specific outcomes. Okay? You can manipulate hormones, and you can actually make your body work with you instead of against you. Okay, and I'm going to explain a little bit about that today. The first thing I want to jump into is called peri-workout nutrition. Now, here's the thing with peri-workout nutrition, okay? If you learn to eat this way, it will be a game changer in terms of building muscle, okay? And that's because the time where you're actually working out, you're pulling blood to these muscles. So say I'm doing a bunch of bicep curls, right? I'm going to be circulating blood to that muscle. Now, do you want the blood that goes to that muscle to have nutrients in it or no nutrients in it? You want there to be nutrients in it, right? I mean, come on. But the only way that we can achieve that is through something called peri-workout nutrition, because there are key nutrients that you want around your training. Aside from all the basics like electrolytes and water and all that stuff, there's very specific foods that you should be eating around your training, right? And carbohydrates are what our center of focus is going to be around, because when we can learn to take our carbs around our workout and use nutrient timing to form this peri-workout nutrition, what you're going to do is influence a hormone called insulin. And that's why we're going to jump into the hormones today. So what insulin does is make every tissue in your body grow. So when you spike it when you're working out, you're actually making your muscles grow. Does that make sense? So we want to take advantage of that and capitalize on that, because insulin is the most anabolic hormone in your body. It's what makes everything grow the fastest. It's more anabolic than testosterone. It's more anabolic than growth hormone. So it's going to be the thing that we want to learn to take advantage of, because it's what will skyrocket our results. And the way that you influence insulin is through carbohydrates. When you eat a carb and it goes into your body, you spike your insulin levels. What insulin does is it's like the key that unlocks your muscles, okay, and says, hey, nutrients, get the hell in there. And then it shuts it and locks it back, okay? So insulin is very, very important, especially if you want to build muscle, okay? So learning to influence that hormone around your training, which is called peri-workout nutrition, and then also use other strategies to devise about nutrient timing, which is eating certain foods at other times a day to create more favorable responses. We'll have to do another video on that entirely, because I want to get into these other 2 things today. Okay, so nutrient timing, that's the first thing you want to make sure you pay attention to. The second thing is going to be quality and sourcing of your food. Look, guys, here's the thing, is if you're not eating organically, you're going to be eating fucking poison, okay? What is the main motive in the U.S.? Profit motive. Profit motive. Listen, in the agricultural industry, they're also playing the capitalism game, which means yield, production, profits, okay? That's their priorities. It's not your fucking health. It's not helping you build muscle. Okay, so what you want to make sure that you do is always, always, always source quality food. You need to get whole organic foods, okay? Why? Because those foods actually grow that way. They exist in nature that way. They're not fucked with and tampered with. Because a lot of the times what these industries will end up doing is adding preservatives, okay? Antibiotics and hormones. And all these other additives like artificial sweeteners and food colorings that ultimately at the end of the day are poison to your body. Because they don't belong there. Because they're not using them for health reasons, they're using them for profit motive. They want to increase the shelf life. They want to increase the amount of yield that comes out of like growing crops. They want to make sure other animals don't eat it, because animals know that that's an edible food when it's organic, right? So they got to spray things on it to prevent other things from eating it, okay? When that shit goes into your body, it poisons you. Okay? And why is that bad? Well, because your body has a prioritization that takes place. Look, here's the thing. You have fucking poison in your body, okay? The first thing it's going to end up doing is taking care of the poison. It's not going to give a shit if you want to build muscle or not. So if you go and damage your body with a workout, but then you're eating all these foods that you're putting poison into you, what you're doing is creating inflammation, okay? And your body will prioritize that inflammation and that poison over recovering your muscles, okay? So you need to make sure that you're sourcing whole organic foods. Do not have preservative-filled bullshit, okay? It's not about macros, it's about quality of your nutrition, okay? So you want to make sure that quality and sourcing is something you're absolutely paying attention to if you want to build your first 25 pounds of muscle fast. Lastly is going to be food sensitivity. This one gets a little tricky because you need a little bit of testing, okay, and patience if you don't have the money to pay for the testing, okay? I want to explain that. Like, when you eat certain foods, they'll react with your body in certain ways. That could be a good reaction or a bad reaction. Some people have things called allergies. This is a severe food sensitivity, okay? You want to stay away from that as much as possible. Anything that's reactive in your body in a negative way will stop your body from building muscle, okay? It creates inflammation. So how do we know what our body's sensitive to? What foods should we stay away from? Well, what you do is you want to get a food sensitivity test, okay? Now, you could find these online. There's a number of websites that use them. I'm not advocating any of them, but one that I've used in the past is Everlywell. And you can order one of their food tests, and it'll tell you exactly what foods react with your blood. Not just your stomach when you put it in your body, but when the nutrients are inside your blood, does your immune system attack it? Because it doesn't like it. It's not supposed to be there. So you could say, man, I think chicken helps me build muscle because it has protein, right? What happens if your body's reactive to chicken, brother? You're probably eating something that's bad for you then, right? Like if it doesn't work well with your body, you're forcing it, right? And that'll cause all kinds of problems like weight gain, fat gain, joint pain, lethargy, fatigue, like feeling overly full, indigestion. The list goes on, okay? There's many different ways. And that's what leads us to our second point. If you don't have the budget for a food sensitivity test, then you want to do something called the feel test, okay? The feel test is just a free way of saying, hey, which foods are reacting negative to my body, right? How do you feel after you eat it? Are you tired? Are you overly full? Do you have indigestion? The rule of thumb here is you should feel better after you eat, not the other way around. So when you eat a food, you should feel good after. Food's meant to provide you with energy, right? There's a function to the reason why we eat. And if you feel like shit and you're tired and you need to go take a nap, well, that's not a good sign, okay? It means you're probably eating something that's bad for your body, right? So in the event that happens, you journal it down somewhere on a little fucking notepad or in your iNotes, and you say, don't eat this food anymore. It's hurting me. It's hurting my belly, my tum-tum, all right? So these are the three factors that you really want to consider if you want to build your first 25 pounds of muscle fast. Nutrient timing, which is just organizing your food around certain times a day. The quality, which is where you source your food, making sure it's always organic and whole foods. And then lastly, pick the foods that are actually good for your body, not just randomly shooting in the dark here. I hope you guys enjoyed all that information. If you could, go ahead and leave me a like down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want more of this.